Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Scalzo. I'm with Westchester Modular Homes, an authorized builder, and I'm very excited today to have a few guys with me and to talk about how to design a home. Today, I have with me David Wrocklage, who's a regional sales manager. I have John Colucci, vice president of sales, and I have David Dillman, a home consultant with our company. So we're talking about design today and how to design a modular home, which is really great, and we have great people to do it. I'm going to start with you, David. How do we get to the point of designing a modular?
So there are a couple of ingredients that go into the steps that we need to take prior to starting the design. And some of those things are, we really do need a survey of the property, a current survey, so we can identify setbacks and any zoning constraints, if there's wetlands on the property, and any things that we have to take a look at while we're designing your new home.
So I think what you're saying is that we look at all those factors to determine the footprint.
Correct.
So once we know the footprint, you can actually get a decent design.
Correct. And we also take a look at the orientation of north-south so that we can understand how the sun's going to travel on the property as well.
Okay, so I'm going to make it easy for you. I have a big piece of property. I come to you with a napkin. I drew what I wanted. Yep. What do you do with that? Do you go to this guy on the screen, David W.? Where does it go? So
we start by taking a look at it and seeing if your sketch, trying to make it so it's modular, conducive. Then we bring into the fold someone like Dave Wrocklage, who's a regional sales manager for the factory. And at that point, we'll do a Zoom meeting and we kind of make the introduction and work through some of the basics on the design for the home.
Well, I'm kind of excited to see what a design would look like and how quick it is. Can you just give me right to David W. right now?
Sure.
So send me over to David.
Right, we're going to send you over to Dave.
Who is on GoToMeeting, by the way, everyone. So David is, where are you, David Wrocklage? Where are you located?
I'm up in Kittery, Maine, and so I do a lot of these types of meetings where the clients are in their house and the builders are in their office, and I'm in Kittery, and we all coordinate a mutually agreeable time and begin this process.
Well,
so the design inspirations, Paul, can come from so many different places. Some people bring us that napkin sketch that you just talked about, and I actually kind of like those best because when they're real rough like that, then I'm able to take that design and put it into our modules, and I'm able to then capitalize on what we do best in the factory, and then again what the items that might be best done by the builder on site, such as porches.
All right, before you begin, I just want to give everybody a little history. First of all, we get total accolades every time we have somebody talk to you. How many of these have you done, and how long have you been with the factory?
Well, I started with Westchester back in 1991, and the software I'm about to show you, we first discovered in 1995, and it was version 3, believe it or not, and right now I'm on version 24. So it's been quite a few years of working with the factory and customers and designing, literally, Paul, hundreds of modular homes, probably getting up into the thousands over the years.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so take us through how you deal with somebody and what they get and what you need.
Dave, kind of start with the beginning of the process. I mean, you're getting people that are giving you bar napkin sketches. You've got people that maybe have gone to our website and they're looking at our gallery. So just give us the different options, if you will, of kind of the things that people throw at you to get a starting point.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the inspiration for the design can come from so many different places. It couldn't be from that napkin sketch. It can be from taking one of our standard plans and modifying it, or one of our custom plans. It can come from magazines or online plan websites and so forth. I always warn customers who bring us those plans that we got to be respectful of the copyright, but I still want them to bring that to me so that we can see where their mind set is, and perhaps we have something in our thousands of plans that I have in my libraries that I can call up and we can work with something that we've already created. So when the customer comes to us with his ideas and so forth, be it one of our standard plans or something else, Hopefully by that time the builder has already talked to the customer and talked about budget and so on, so that we don't get into designing something that's they're not going to be able to afford. And I always rely on the builders to do that, and they do a great job at doing that. So up on the screen right now, I have a version of our Richmond floor plan. And the Richmond is a very popular plan. It's a 1,800 square foot colonial. In its traditional look here, it might be considered a traditional colonial. And in its most simplest form, this customer came to us and they said, gee, we like the floor plan of the Richmond, but we love these new farmhouse looks and so on. Can you take that plan and make it look like a farmhouse? So this was simple to do. We took that Richmond and then we just took it and added some details to it. The wraparound porch, which is a very cool farmhouse look. Really popular nowadays are these black windows. The 8/8 grill patterns, we switched to a much more common 2/2 grill pattern that you might see on a farmhouse. And so here it was very simple to take that plan that was originally looking like a more traditional, what we call gable entry colonial, and turning it into this cool farmhouse look.
That's
on
fantastic.
Go ahead.
So did you do that with the client on the Zoom link, or did it take a while to do that?
It depends. It depends on how good an idea I have of what they want. And many times, yes. Many times we'll sit there and I'll say we can do this and we can do this and this will make it look like a farmhouse. And if we turn it white and so on, and black windows. So we'll discuss those things and we'll do them right with the client. Sometimes I have to take time and think about it, and I might do it, on my own time, and then get back with the client. So it really depends, Paul.
Okay.
So it truly is just custom. I mean, people can look at a plan, they could fall in love with a kitchen from one floor plan, and you can incorporate that into a completely different plan and make the house look completely different on the outside as well.
Absolutely. And I've designed houses around things like a rug that a Pasha gave this gentleman in 1959. We designed the whole house around this Persian rug. And so people will bring us elements that are important to them, and we'll incorporate it into their plan. It may be a piece of furniture. It could be even we had some Tiffany glass windows that that some customer had bought, and we incorporated that into the design. And then they may have things like where they need the pool to be, and they want a bathroom near the pool that's accessible from the outside. All sorts of ideas like that. So it's just working with the customer, seeing what their needs are, seeing what their budget is, trying to understand their aesthetic goals, and then creating that plan around all of that.
Can you give us an example of one more?
Yeah, this one up on the screen right now is one that we built recently out on Martha's Vineyard. And again, it's another farmhouse look that are very popular right now. And this plan really developed from some photographs that the customers had brought of some farmhouse styles that they liked. And then we needed to take that idea and bring it into our modules, and we have different size modules, and I know which ones are most cost effective. In this case on Martha's Vineyard, we have some limitations on the length and so on to be able to get onto the barges and so on. So all of those type of considerations we need to weigh and address as we develop the plan. This was a really cool one here. Let me call up its 3D view. There's another idea of the type of things that we can do. So, some people still have the misconception that modular homes are boxy and plain looking, and it's just not so anymore. We can really design fabulous homes and really address the aesthetic desires of the customers. Let me show you one more cool thing too. So when I'm working with the customer, And this goes back to my early days when I was with a customer and we were looking at a screen like you're looking at now. And she said, gee, I can see what you're doing there. She said, but I don't know what all those symbols and icons are. And I look at it and I can see the bathroom, I can see the toilet, I can see the washer dryer here. But I went and I said, well, let me show you this view. We call this the dollhouse view. It's like we took the roof off the house and we then looked down inside of it. Whoops, I took that too far. And that gives the customer a really cool view, brings the floor plan to life, and really gives them a much better idea of what that house is going to look like on the inside.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's great.
That's fantastic. And so with that, Dave, can you also do like a screenshot of the kitchen and kind of walk them around the kitchen so they get a flavor for what that's going to look like before they even order?
Sure. In this case here, John, this is very important because we had to have a structural post here. And this post holds up the roof of the house, and I wanted them to be able to see that. They decided to use a complementary post, not structural, just decorative, on the other side of this island. But I was able to show them what that kitchen was going to look like. We did a little coffee bar over here on the side, and you can see they like these industrial lights. I put a little coffee maker in there, and we have a wine bar over on this side. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a wine cooler over there, and there's glass upper cabinets there to display your beautiful wine glasses in. So yes, I'm able to do that and show them what the house is going to look like and take a little walk around and show them things. That actually, that TV has a picture of the boat that my builder on Martha's Vineyard owns. So we do little fun things like that.
That's terrific.
That's great.
Dave, do you have any finished shots of a house? If you could bring us from this concept to a finished house, do you have any photos you could pull up?
I sure do. So this house here was what we designed originally, and this is what we finally ended up with. That's the photograph of it. And you can see we really nailed exactly what this house was going to look like. Now, this was done in about 3 or 4 years ago out of Martha's Vineyard, and we actually won the best design for the year out there, not modular, but all the homes built. That was the back of the house with the outdoor shower you can see on the right side, and the screen porch and the patio and so forth. And even when we got into designing the kitchen in this house, we put in the cabinets. We did these cool angled cabinets. We needed to find a cabinet to hold the microwave oven. You'll notice in the photograph they've got crown molding up there. Well, that was an afterthought. Had I known that they were going to be doing crown molding, I could have added that to my design and showed the customer what that looked like. But you can see right down to these designs. Now, I have in this software all of the classic series cabinets that Marilat makes, so I can actually reproduce for the customer with the understanding that we're looking at computer screens and they may interpret colors and stuff a little bit differently, but I'm going to be able to reproduce for the customer almost exactly what that kitchen's going to look like. So it's come a long way from the early days where we deliver a house and somebody would say, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to look like that." I don't get that anymore because I'm able to show the customer exactly what it is we're going to build. This is one of our arts and crafts houses that we built in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. We have 31 lots up there, and we're working with the builder. We have about 20 houses in there right now. But you can see right down to the color of the siding, which is the Main Street clapboard siding in cypress with some cedar look siding up in the gables, which is called buckskin. So right down to the colors of the siding I can recreate for the customer.
Hey, Dave, I just want to interject for one moment also. One of the things that during the design process, which a lot of my customers have really enjoyed, is that a lot of people have furniture, existing furniture that they plan on utilizing. And the nice part is through the design process, we can actually take that furniture and put it right into the plan. And that's a really big deal for the clients as well.
So wait, you're not talking about just the dimension of the furniture. You're talking about the actual piece.
We can actually take dimensional and almost shape and get it live right into.
Well, that's great.
the floor plan, which is really important for the clients to understand how big things are and how they fit within their lifestyle and their rooms.
That's important.
Just to kind of wrap up, David Wrocklage, anything else you want to add before we end this podcast?
Not really. The only thing I do want to stress is that the process of designing with the customer, and I want to show you this house right here, is a give and take between the customer, the builder, and myself. I want to point out something on this house here, which we designed for the customer. On the back of this house, we had a turret that was actually a screen porch. And the builder and I looked at this together and decided that the screen porch was not going to be worth building as a modular piece because it had no windows in it, it had no plumbing, it had no sheetrock and insulation and so on. It was going to be over with. There was a turret, similar turret, on the front of the house, and that was going to be part of the actual conditioned space with electrical and insulation and a bunch of windows and so forth. So when we were making these decisions on how to build this house and so on, we decided that the builder would be better off building the screen porch. We would do the modular turret and send that along. We could get it on one trailer. And this bonus room, which was just open space over the basement level garage, we decided not to build that as modules because we could have, but it wouldn't have been value. Couldn't offer the value there. So we did that as panelized walls. And then the roof of that garage we did as pre-assembled roofs. So they were built in two halves, shingled in the factory, off the production line, and brought down. And when the set crew was there, they set the 3 downstairs modules, the 3 upstairs modules, and the turret. And the builder had pre-built the lower level garage deck, and we then set the panelized walls for that garage, and then the pre-assembled roofs on top of that. That reduced the amount of time that the builder had to have stick building those items, and it also made the house weatherproof when the set crew left. So all of that roof was weatherproof by the time the set crew left, which is really, really important consideration when you're designing and building a modular home.
That's terrific. A lot of coordination you went through, but that's terrific.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, David. John Colucci, is there anything else you want to add?
Can you pull up that house that Tim Skelly sent us, that MLS? I think it was one of Bill's, the one that we were talking about earlier. I just was in awe of this house. I mean, and Dave, who was this this customer? You were explaining to me before.
He's a descendant of Theodore Sedgwick, who was a Secretary of State during Washington's time, George Washington's time, and it's an old family. He himself, the customer, was the ambassador to Slovakia, and they have a lot of ties to Massachusetts, going back right to their ancestor Theodore.
Wow.
Pretty cool. So this is a house that we recently completed on Martha's Vineyard, and it was right on the Ocean Air on Main Street in Martha's Vineyard. And the inspiration for this design came from a combination of homes that we had built in the past and then customizing the interior to the customer's needs and so forth. So I'll just take you through a few of these pictures here, but it was a very beautiful house.
So this was truly just a made-to-order, custom plan that you worked with the builder out there and the customer together and brought this thing to life.
It's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Yep.
Gorgeous shots.
Beautiful design, David.
Thank you, Paul.
Did you design this one all yourself?
It came from homes that I had designed with other customers, and then just working with the customer and the builder to add custom elements to it. So it was kind of a hybrid, yes.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It was a hybrid from that one that I showed previously, the one that we won the award out on Martha's Vineyard. That's probably what attracted these people. This gentleman was an old family from a political family from Massachusetts. He was an ambassador to Slovakia, and they have a lot of ties to Massachusetts, even though they live in Washington, D.C.
Wow. Well, David, we just want to thank you very much for taking us through a little of your portfolio. And David is always accessible to anybody that wants to design here at Westchester Modular Homes. So thank you very much, David. John Colucci, would you like to add anything?
Absolutely. Dave, you do what you do very well. We appreciate it. And what a great job. This is just a fantastic service to be able to offer to our customers. So thank you. So
with that, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you found this helpful, and certainly call if you have any questions on this. You can call 1-800-832-3888 or 203-790-7777. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay.